Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mar if you're new here, and in this video we're gonna test out the new MAC Radiance concealers. These are their newest launch and I love a good concealer, and these are very lightweight serum concealers, so we're gonna see how I feel about them. I am wearing them right now because I'm filming this intro after I finished doing my makeup and after I kind of gave my verdict on these concealers, so stay tuned to the end of this video to actually see what I think about them. The packaging is so cute for how they sent the concealers. I feel like MAC always does a really good job with these. But look at it. They sent me my actual concealer shade, a shade that I could potentially use to highlight, and then a shade for contouring, which is a lot darker than my regular shade. So we're gonna try all of these for the first time. They're the MAC Studio Radiance concealers. They conceal, reveal, and refresh for a luminous lifted look, and it's weightless and radiant, so it's supposed to be super lightweight and serum light. So the shades they sent me to highlight is NC17. So yeah, the MAC Radiance concealers. This is in the shade NC17 for highlighting purposes for me. Gonna open it for the first time. This is gonna be a first impression plus trying it on. I'm gonna try to do a full face of concealer because I feel I could totally do that with these. So, I like the packaging. I feel like they made something super elevated. I love how it's black and it kind of ombres to the concealer color at the bottom. Ooh, the applicator is thick. She is thick. I don't know how I feel about this. We're gonna have to give her a go when I apply it to my skin. So I'm gonna just open them all to show you guys the shades that they gave me. So the other one was NC20, and this should be my proper concealer shade. And then NC17 would technically be my highlighting shade because that would be pretty bright. And then this is what NC20 looks like in the packaging. Color is pretty good, I think. I'm a very neutral to olive undertone, and sometimes I could do well with cool toned base makeup but not anything warm. And then this is NC45, which is the contoured shade, I assume, bronzing, contouring, darkening, adding the depth. So this is how it's looking same pretty sleek packaging. And this is how the color is looking outside the applicator. They also sent in a concealer brush with everything. So I feel I'm gonna use this for my regular concealer shade plus highlighting. I don't think I'm gonna use this for contouring, just because I feel it's gonna get dirty with applying all the different shades of concealer. Plus it's too small for contouring slash bronzing. I prefer a thicker brush. Okay, I did some skin prep before we test out these concealers. So I did really basic serum, and then I did moisturizer, under eye cream, all the stuff that I use in all my other videos. I didn't go too hard on the skin prep because I don't know how these concealers are gonna react to my base. And I also brought two more brushes. So this is the MAC foundation brush. They gifted this to me at one of their events. I love this brush so much for foundation. It's pretty dense. We're not going with foundation though, but I'm gonna use it to blend in the contour, highlight, concealer situation that we're working on. And then I brought my contour slash bronzer brush. I love this brush for anything over here or on the forehead just because of its shape. It's so easy to use. It's also fluffy. It's not very dense. Okay, I think first I'm gonna go with the shade NC20, which is supposedly my regular concealer shade. Let's see if this looks any good. Again, I don't know how I feel about this applicator. Putting it on my skin, it feels pretty light. So far, really creamy is the feeling that I get from this. I love creamy concealers because I have really dry under eyes usually, and I have to go with a lot of under eye cream before I do any concealer for it to not look patchy and weird. I'm gonna grab the concealer brush that they gave me. Now, I only ever use one concealer brush from Morphe, and that's the brush I've been using for literally the past 5 years. I haven't liked any other concealer brushes on the market, so you could say I'm very picky with my concealer brushes, and so far I don't love how dense and short this brush is. It's almost too dense for my liking. I prefer a more airy kind of blend. But let's see how this concealer blends through. Okay, color wise, I think this shade is good for a concealer shade match for me. I could have gone with a bit darker, but I based my choices based on my foundation color with MAC, and I usually wear an NC40 foundation shade. So I thought that an NC20 might be like a good like brightening shade for me, but I could have gone with darker, not gonna lie. Really don't like this brush. I don't love it. It feels weird on my skin and it doesn't feel comfortable when I'm blending like such a delicate area under my eye. I think I'm gonna switch back to my regular concealer brush in a second. Now we're gonna go with the contour shade. This is NC45 again. So I know I look really weird right now because it's just so bright under my eyes, but we're gonna blend everything together. I think I might have to do some like thin layers of foundation like in between to blend everything in after I do the contouring slash bronzing, just because it's looking a little bit too harsh and unblended right now. So I'm gonna place this over here where I regularly would. This shade is a little bit too warm for my liking. Putting over my forehead, and usually I do like my nose area and like a little bit in the middle here, snatch that jawline. Again, feels super creamy, super lightweight. I like that about it, but now looking at my under eyes, I feel like, I don't know if you guys can see this, I feel like it's settling in my crease a little bit too fast. Usually with other concealers I've used, it doesn't settle in my crease that quickly. I also feel like it's not really covering my dark under eyes well. I might have to go with that brightening shade in a bit, or like just do another layer, because I do have very hollow like sunken under eyes and I feel like it's kind of highlighting them and emphasizing them, which I don't love. Okay, gonna go ahead with my contour brush to blend everything together. Blends super nicely though, like I literally did like 2 taps and it's already like blended where I put it on the contour areas. So that's a good thing. But yeah, the color is a little bit too warm for my liking for like a bronzer slash contour shade. It's not horrible though, like definitely can make this work. Like it's not too dark. But again, it's like very like orangey toned. Okay, I'm done blending like the contour slash bronzer placement. I really like how the contour slash bronzer blended in on my face, even though like I only literally have concealer and that on my face right now. But I'm gonna come back in a few minutes after I put like a layer of foundation on top. I'm gonna do like a thin serum foundation just to like not hide completely what's happening here, so we can really like test out how it works with like blended in my makeup. Okay, I did my very trusty Fenty foundation on top and I feel like it's not looking too bad now that I have foundation on, but I wanted to show you guys. This is the concealer brush that I usually use and that I love a lot. It's from Morphe and it's the E8 brush. It's like a lot longer than the MAC one and that's why I like it. Like it's still pretty dense, but it's like not short and stubby. And I don't know, something about like short and stubby brushes, it just makes blending a little bit too hard for me in my opinion. So yeah, now that I have foundation on, I feel like it's not looking too horrible with the concealer placements. I definitely love the bronzer contour a lot. I think I'm gonna do like a little bit more of the lighter shade under my eyes because they're still looking very hollow, sunken, and not very concealed because this concealer does have a very thin formula. Okay, I'm grabbing shade NC17, which is the one that's supposedly a bit lighter. And I'm gonna be very intentional with my placement here. So I am gonna put it like literally here a little bit where I see like the most hollow sunken like portion of my eyelid, and here because it is looking a little bit blue. I don't want to put much on the sides. I actually don't want to put any on the side at all. I think I'm gonna do like a little bit on my forehead just to highlight a bit in this area and make it look more blended in with like the foundation slash bronzer placement that I put here. I'm gonna give it a minute to like kind of thicken up a bit before I blend it so that it doesn't move around a lot and it sticks to the placement where I put it at. So in a few minutes I'll be back to blend it. I feel like we've given it enough time to like dry out a little bit and thicken a bit in its like consistency. So I'm gonna go ahead with my very trusty Morphe brush. Sorry, MAC brush, I really did not like you. I really wanted to like you, but we're going with my fave. I'm just gonna do like dabbing, tapping motions to like not move the placement a lot and just blend it upward and inward. Blending the forehead portion in the same way, just literally tapping and fanning it out a bit. Okay, I do think now everything's kind of looking a little bit better that I added another layer of concealer to kind of like really conceal my sunken under eyes and my dark spots over there. I like how this kind of highlighted the forehead a bit and blended it better with the foundation slash bronzer placement. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup, set with powders, and then come back and give you guys my verdict. We're gonna rate this concealer out of 10 based on a lot of characteristics that we've talked about, so stay tuned. Excuse my hair, it's looking a little bit wild right now because
I done Pink Beyonce.
I'm joking. But like, I'm about to film a TikTok on how I refresh my curly hair. That's why it's looking like really rough right now. I finished up my entire face like I usually do. I did like a soft brown wing liner, some fake half lashes, my usual blush powder placement, and some lipstick. These MAC concealers, I wanted to love them because I love a lot of MAC's complexion products. Like, let's be for real, the Serum Foundation is one of my favorite foundations that MAC came out with, and one of my favorite foundations in general. I use that foundation on a regular basis, so I had really high hopes for the Serum concealers, and I thought that I was gonna like them as much as I do with the foundation. However, I am gonna be completely honest, I don't love them. If I was to rate them out of 10, I would give them like a 6.5 out of 10 because A, they're a little bit too thin for my liking. I like a thicker concealer because I do have very hollow, dark under eyes, and I feel like with this Serum Consistency Thin Concealer doesn't really work for my dark under eyes. I feel like if you were maybe like a clean girl aesthetic kind of girl, you don't love a full glam, and you like a lighter, softer makeup look, then you might prefer this concealer over others. However, I don't personally. Another thing, I don't think I have the right shades. Like, I know right now when I finish up my entire makeup, it kind of looks good, but I think that when I was first applying like the brightening concealer and the other concealer, it was just a little bit too light for me. So maybe if I try darker shades, my opinion might change a bit. And then another thing I want to point out for why I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I'm gonna get closer and you guys tell me if you notice, but there's creasing even after I set it with two powders. So usually the way I set my under eyes is with a pressed powder first. Charlotte Tilbury is the one that I go to, and a powder puff. And then I do loose powder on top, like baking kind of. And I use the one size powder for that. And that's like my go-to tested and tried under eye setting routine that usually works with every concealer that I've ever used. But like, it literally like kind of emphasized my creasing over here when I tried it with this one. So I don't know if that's because of the powders I used and they like don't really mesh well with these concealers, or I really don't know. Will I be reaching out to these concealers on a daily basis? Probably not. I do like a lot of the other concealers I have better than them. However, they're not that horrible, but yeah, they do come in the mid-range. The 6.5 out of 10 is a very fair rating in my opinion from my experience. I'm gonna see how this sets out throughout the day, and I'll probably like update on my Instagram stories about that. Speaking of, if you don't follow me on Instagram or TikTok, I have the same username on all of my channels, heya.itsmar, and I'll probably like post how I feel about this over on the stories because I'm not going anywhere tonight, so I feel like the wear test is not going to be like enough of a wear test for me to film a reaction after for YouTube. I'm literally staying at home because it's raining outside and I don't really have much to do. So yeah, I'm just gonna like post quick updates over on Instagram stories for that. And yeah, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel if you're not already. Thumbs up this video. Leave me what you think about these concealers in the comment section down below. I always love to hear your guys' thoughts and have a full open discussion about makeup stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!